Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in and watching and listening to us. We are the Real Short Box Live Edition. My name is Donald, and our usual cohorts in crime here, Kevin, Chris, and Jared. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Jesus. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I am here from a secret lair, a.k.a. my old childhood bedroom.
Is that in Alaska, sir?
Yes, might as well be. We got over a foot of snow. I spent 4 hours cleaning out the driveway, shoveling the snow last Monday and Wednesday, and now it's completely covered again, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
How come? Someone has to do
I'm not going to do it.
You have a snowblower?
I keep getting this this cough and congestion, and I'm not doing it. I'm done.
Do you have a snowblower?
Well, what I figured was, yeah, no, I don't have one, but I figured
you pay like little Jimmy down the road to do it for you.
Little Jimmy. I don't think this is an old town, Kevin. This is like there's a nursing home. People they drive up at the top of the lane slowly. They drive past. You ready yet? You know. And they do that.
I'm sure they would love something to do. Old people need that.
Well, it's like a ice cream truck, but it's just the people at the nursing home.
Surely there's some children. There's some children in town.
There's not. Stop calling me Shirley.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some kids. I'm sure around, but very few and far in between. Actually, my buddy
put an ad on Craigslist, man.
My buddy Greg came and helped me clean out the driveway, so that was very nice of him. So, Greg, I know you'll never watch this, but thank you. So, there we go. We have, I know we have some honorable mentions, and we have some regulars tonight because we are talking about our favorite actors in basically Hollywood films, like superhero films. We have these honorable mentions. We have these choices that we've made. But what are some that didn't make the list that we just want to mention, just throw out that we thought were fun and deserving of a mention at least? I'll go first. I'm going to say immediately Billy Zane as the Phantom. I don't care what you think. I love that film. I will watch it over and over and over again. It's a fun adventure film. It's silly, but it still makes me laugh. Makes me go, oh, that's cool, and has some fun action scenes and sequences in it. We get Catherine Zeta-Jones. I mean, that's in her debut role too.
For her breakout role in Zorro.
This is her debut role, by the way. This is her and presenting. Yeah. So
before Mike Douglas got his greedy hands into her.
Yes, exactly.
That's true.
His
hand. Greed, also, good.
Yeah, right into that.
Billy Zane did Titanic.
Yes, he did. Yeah. This was before Titanic, though, I believe, if I recall.
Yep. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
About a year and a half.
Yeah, because I think
96.
This was 96, 95, 96, and Titanic was what, 97?
Yeah, late 97.
97, 98. Yeah. Okay, so that was mine. So I'm gonna do some stuff in the background while you guys throw out yours.
All right, let's go with Duke Turner. What is yours, sir?
Well, I felt like, talking about superhero or, comic book superhero characters, I can't leave out Ninja Turtles. So I had Elias Sokotias as, our good old OG Casey Jones.
Good choice.
Yeah, you can't talk about, actors portraying comic book characters without mentioning him. He brought Casey Jones to life for the first time, and still the best Casey Jones on screen, in my opinion.
I don't think there is another Casey Jones on screen.
Yeah, there is. There's just Stephen Amell in the new Turtles movie.
No, that didn't happen.
And the cartoon.
That Stephen Amell thing did not happen. Sorry.
Are you in denial? Are you in denial, sir?
Oh, total denial. Yeah. Yeah, no thank you. Hard pass on that one, sir. Hard pass.
And what about you?
Are these our honorable mentions?
Yeah.
Well, it's just they're not honorable mentions. They're just ones that we are mentioning besides the honorable mentions. Chris just didn't listen.
Oh, okay.
So,
Besides that, then I would say I would say a controversial one, but I loved it. Tom Hardy is Bane. Like, whether you hate it or not, but everybody
It's
had
quotable. He's quotable.
Yeah, everybody had a feeling about that. Nobody expected him to go that route because how are you going to do Bane, live? We've only seen him in comic book form. Or no, we saw him in that
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, with the prosthetic muscle man guy, whatever the hell that was.
It was some wrestler dude, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Hardy to me is just a hell of an actor, period. And then what he does in that role is so off the wall and great. I don't know. The voice alone was it was such a choice. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Enrique. Oh, hey, it's Sammy. Yay.
Hey, Sammy. Boy, you're going to piss her off today.
Yeah. You know what? The Bills should have won. How about that?
For you. Kevin, what is your non-honorable mention but honorable mention?
Well, since that caught me off guard there, I guess I'll go with my man Wesley Snipes, Blade. I mean, I can't think. I mean, even though Marshall Shaw Ali is going to be the new Blade, he's going to have to really, really impress me in the role. To me, Wesley Snipes was a great Blade.
Well, he took it seriously, which is what I loved, and supposedly would not break character.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Please, we're doing an interview for the film's over now. Can you chill out? And he's like, no, I'm Blade. They're like, all right, Blade.
And you know what's funny about Blade that people forget? Bullet Time actually was in that movie before The Matrix.
That's right, yeah.
As well as the leather, wearing black leather outfits. That was a year before the Matrix movie. So sometimes Matrix gets a little too much.
Kevin, black leather has been around way longer than that.
What within the context of that kind of movie? That's what I mean. Yes, of course.
Going to these bars, secretly alone, and there's black leather everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of those places. Sammy, who's hosting the championship game? I don't know. Don't even care.
The Rams. It's going to be at the SoFi, whatever you call it, stadium in Inglewood. So the Rams has the home field advantage.
Well, I think isn't that the where's the Super Bowl?
Tunnel.
Where's the Super Bowl?
I'm sorry. The Super Bowl.
That's LA too.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So
LA could be playing at home in the Super Bowl.
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be the first time in a long time that any team has had that advantage. I think maybe the Dolphins played in the Orange Bowl. Maybe. Yeah,
but you know what? It's not going to be an advantage next week when they play the 49ers. I can guarantee you that.
Well, it won't be easy, no doubt. It's going to be hard.
No. 49ers are going to overtake that stadium. It's just the way it is. The AFC. Oh, she's talking about that other game that's happening with the Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs and the Bengals. Well, it's going to be in Kansas City, I believe.
Yeah, of course it is. But you got to watch them Bengals. They're pretty wily, and they did beat the Chiefs last time. So
that's true. But guess what? The Chiefs remember that, so they'll be motivated to take care of business.
Yeah. And so will the Bengals. I don't know. I wouldn't rule them out. Anyway, moving on. Any other films that you guys can think of that were not on any lists at all?
Rorschach from Watchmen. I felt Jackie Earle Haley did a great job playing Rorschach.
Well, not only that, but we talked about Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing the comedian in that film as well. Was excellent. I think those two pretty much made the film as far as their performances are concerned. And there's been a lot of rumors swirling around as far as Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing Thomas Wayne in some form of a
definitely looks the
Batman
part.
Film.
He definitely looks the part.
Yeah.
And I would say not a brilliant actor, but we're talking about actors in the comic book roles they're playing. I mean, good actor, but Evan Peters as Quicksilver, to me, kind of what he did with that role once again was just so awesome. And he didn't have a ton of screen time, but he just made that role really fun, especially when you had to come off of the shit show that Age of Ultron Quicksilver established.
You know how hard it is. You know how hard it is to show up Marvel you know, like their cinematic universe. And Fox was like, hold my beer. And they did it, you know.
And they did it, yeah.
They easily did it. It was really cool. Hey, Maria,
Fox,
thanks for joining.
Alan Cummings as Nightcrawler in X-Men 2, I thought was great.
Alan Going also was really, really good.
Yeah. And Alan not finishings was also. Yeah.
I'll be here all week, guys. Try the veal. It's delicious.
Alan Blue Balls, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was other people that didn't make the list. I was kind of a big fan of Michael Chiklis is the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, he was good.
You were a fan of Michael Chiklis? You know, he is actually named after that small gum that Mexican children pass around to each other.
No, that's Chiclets, dude. That's Chiclets.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I always get that confused. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I'm on a roll. Yeah. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so we are here to do this list. Now, I want to hear from people in the chat. What are some, I know that Sammy already threw out a couple. She said Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. What are some that you don't think deserve to be on this list? This is what I want to hear.
Ooh.
What are some...
The opposite, the anti.
Yes. What are the stink pots? Geez, I could throw out one pretty easily. I would say in Ghost Rider, what's his name? Blackheart, the guy that played Blackheart.
Wes Bentley? Was it Wes Bentley?
Yes, thank you. Wes Bentley, yeah.
And he was supposed to be Spider-Man in
his performance as Blackheart is terrible. Oh, Sammy with the slam. She says Brie Larson.
Ooh.
Nice.
I mean, she's not wrong, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't watch 15 minutes of Captain Marvel because I was like, she's just boring.
Yeah.
And then when you saw her in the Avengers films, I'm like, oh, she's just boring.
Would you tell it to her face, Mr. Jarrett?
I probably would, and then I'd be like, I'm sorry. I do this podcast.
I have to do this.
But I do love Brie cheese. And then I'd walk away slowly as the Hulk music played in the background.
Oh, the sad Hulk music when he's like leaving town.
Sad Hulk music. Just walk away.
Frank says Jackman as Wolverine. Isn't Logan at 5'3", not 6'5"?
No, well, they couldn't get Glenn Danzig, unfortunately.
That's true. They couldn't get Danny DeVito. Was busy at the time, and he refused to get in shape.
Bob Hoskins, I think at one point it was a choice like in the early '90s to play Wolverine.
That would have been amazing.
Which is hilarious too.
I love it. Plumbers. You know that is one that actually I think deserves to make the list or should have. Because it was a comic book too, so technically, you could skirt it.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not to toot my own horn, but I'd kind of be a badass Wolverine. I'm short, I'm stocky, I can do it.
I don't know, man. I think you make a better Mario.
Oh, that's messed up. So,
what?
So does that make you Luigi then, Donald?
Probably.
Oh, I'll take it then. First billing. That's good.
Probably, yeah. You get first billing.
As long as it's not Toad.
Joe says that guy who tried to play Gambit in the Wolverine Origins. Oh, that was Kit. Is it Kit? No, that's not Kit.
No, he's a big actor though. He's in a lot of stuff.
It's the guy from Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. What is his name? He was in Battleship.
Yeah.
Which I actually enjoyed.
Battleship was actually a pretty good movie. Actually,
I thought so. Sammy says, thank you, Jarrett. The one thing we agree on. And then she says, me too, damn it. That's one more thing. The cheese thing. And Joe says Jarrett as the Monopoly guy. And Sammy says, I would play Toad.
I think it's supposed to be J.P. Morgan. I think that's what it's based off on.
No, it's supposed to be Jared Galante.
Oh, that's right, Joe. It's Taylor
Kitsch.
Yeah, Taylor Kitsch. Yeah. He was a pretty bad Gambit, I will say, yes. Yeah. And Frank says Battleship very underrated. Thank you, Frank. Yes, I think so too.
Ooh, I'll say a weird one. Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in the Wolverines Origins.
Oh.
But then nailed it as Deadpool in the Deadpool films.
Yeah, but that one wasn't his fault, though. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
No, that's actually the Fox executive who is now head Sony, Tom Rothman. He's the one who demanded that, apparently.
Jesus God, that explains so much. Enrique's got
also,
a great
the Game
one.
of Thrones guys actually wrote the script too. One of the Game of Thrones guys actually wrote X-Men Wolverine Origins. Interestingly enough,
Enrique's got a great one. He says Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I can't stand that dude.
Joe's got a great one also. Joe's following it up with Halle Berry.
And Halle Berry and Catwoman.
Yeah, probably. Although Storm, she was not an amazing Storm. Let's be real.
They didn't give her much to do, to be honest with you.
Probably because she wasn't great at doing it. So
now Angela Bassett, I think that was like the original pick, but I think she turned it down.
She did turn it down.
She would have been great.
She was my number one choice, always in my head. Always in my head. Number one choice.
Famke Janssen was also kind of a boring Jean Grey, I thought. She didn't really...
You shut your poor mouth.
You wanted to give like a Zena
Famke was amazing. She's sexy. She's wonderful. She's everything we needed.
She's sexy, and I've seen her do good acting in other films, but that was just boring.
Well, do you think Jean Grey's an exciting character? Because I don't.
Well, in the cartoon, she is.
No, to be an exciting character.
I think she's always been one-dimensional and boring. I've never liked Jean Grey. Yeah. That's when she's most exciting.
Where are you,
Jean? In the astral plane. Plane.
Professor!
Uh-oh. Jarrett, now you have irked Sammy. She says F you. So you guys were like this, and now you're like
which one made her sad? The Famke or the...
Yeah, it's the Famke.
I think it's the Famke.
Yeah. Chris Duque, what up, buddy?
That I think was boring.
What up? Thanks for coming in.
She's great in rounders and stuff like that, but yeah, no.
Sammy says Storm was the only the main person in X3 because Halle wouldn't come back unless they did that.
Wow. Really? Oh, jeez.
I guess. Frank says every person in the 2015 Fantastic Four movie.
That's the winner right there.
Let's see.
Michael Chiklis, you give him mercy.
Chris, I think you're right. Duque says he's still waiting for a good rogue. And Enrique says, yes, Halle Berry did show up for her Razzie. I will give her props for that. So, that's true. She did.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I would show up for my Razzie, too. If I had one. But I don't. Oh, well.
I prefer the Saturn Awards. Those are cool trophies.
You prefer what?
The Saturn, the science fiction awards, like the Saturns.
Oh. Hey, Frank. Thanks for joining.
I prefer the AVN awards.
What's that?
The bird flu.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oops. Sammy says Chris Evans was a good Johnny Storm, but a better Cap. You know, here's the thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Chris Evans did not make the list tonight, Sammy, for a reason. As much as I love Chris Evans as Captain America, I could still see multiple people playing that role. Whereas now, for example, we have certain people that you will never see, like Robert Downey Jr. In Iron Man. Can you really see anybody else playing Iron Man now? When you think of Iron Man in your head, it's Robert Downey Jr. But with Cap, I can still picture other people playing that role. So for me, that's kind of what led me in certain directions on this list, and I guess you'll see coming up. I just want to be transparent with that. So there is going to be some things that'll probably piss you off. Let's be honest, there's always going to be things that's going to piss you off. But this will be an extra bonus for pissing you off. Yeah, I'm sure.
Extra bonus.
Yeah. AVN Award, says Joe. Damn it, Jarrett. Who?
What's up, homie?
Chris? Like who playing Captain America? What's his name? From The Office. Jim. The guy that plays Jim from The Office.
Ricky Gervais? I don't think he'd make a good Cap.
No, not.
He's very funny.
Not Ricky. No, not Ricky Gervais. No, not the British Office. The American version of The Office. Whatever that is.
Rainn Wilson? No, I don't think he would.
Okay.
Either.
Not working?
No.
Oh.
But I'm watching.
Okay. Thanks, Mom.
John Krasinski.
Say hi to my mom, everybody.
Hi, Mrs.
Hi,
McKinney.
Mom.
Now
And
say hi
happy
to my
birthday
dad, too. He's
tomorrow.
watching.
And happy birthday. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Though the rumors are that Krasinski is going to be in the MCU as
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic, yeah.
As Reed Richards. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
rumor.
John Krasinski.
Charlize Theron might be Invisible Woman.
Here's another one that I think would have made an excellent Captain America, Chris. I can keep going. I can do this all day. Jensen Echols. Boom. Easy. Easy Captain America. I mean, just so many. He's not too skinny. Have you seen him in the show, the Amazon show, whatever that is? It's the what is the show he plays a spy, like a you guys killing me.
You know who could have been a good Cap, but he already was taken for another character, and probably earlier on, but Thomas Jane could have done Cap.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
At one point, it's possible.
Yeah.
He was the Punisher, though, at least.
Can my mom host instead, Sammy? No. Not tonight.
Wow.
Not tonight. She's got a little voice thing going on right now. She sounds like this. So, probably not. Yes. Pete is correct. Jensen is playing Soldier Boy in The Boys, which is coming up. So, we'll be able to see him in a superhero-like role, which is awesome. But we've already seen him in that as Dean in Supernatural, which is pretty super heroic, if you ask me.
Dean.
Chris says... Chris Duque says, I can see Kevin playing Captain America with a little kissy kiss. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know how that's possible.
And Frank says,
one, right?
cannot wait for Jensen as Soldier Boy. And Aggressively Relaxing says, did you guys ever see The Good Place? Yes, I've seen that. It's a great show. And, oh, thank you, Enrique. Frank says, I would inject myself with a vial of super soldier serum even if it were illegal to do so.
Well,
and
so you're like U.S. agent then.
Or
yeah.
Those kids in Winter Soldier.
You're the guy named after the Scotch. You're Johnny Walker.
The flag smashers.
Yeah, flag smashers. Let's see. Aiden popped in. Thanks for joining, Aiden. So let's get started, right? Let's do some of these honorable mentions. Let's go with Chris's again first. We'll have him quickly re-mention it so I can put up the picture. Let me bring that up. Give me a moment here, Chris. We're going to bring up some pictures, people.
It was Elias Koteas. How do you say his name?
Elias.
I think it's Elias.
Elias Koteas. I believe it's a Greek name.
In the prophecy, right?
I think it's Elias.
Yeah, Elias Koteas. Yeah,
as Casey Jones. Yeah, and here he is on front and center here in the picture. Great Casey Jones. Chris actually started his fan club back in 1992, for those that do not know. Chris Turner was the official charter member of the Elias Koteas fan club, and you sent in 1995. And I'm going to tell you right now, you got a pencil and a crayon hand-drawn certificate. It was total bullshit. I know Chris pocketed at least $18 of that 1995. So, you got ripped off. Ask for your money back.
Yeah, sure. 11-year-old me started in fan club.
Favorite actor.
Oh, we got something here. Aggressively Relaxing says, did you guys ever see The Good Place? And then he says, the dude who played Chidi for Mr. Fantastic. I disagree. I would give him, Jesus. Jarrett, though, the book you and I kept looking for forever. Shoot. I'll think of it. Aggressively Relaxing. I'll think of it. It's he became part of the Ultimates. It was a team called the Ultimates.
Blue Marvel.
Thank you. Yes, Blue Marvel. Yeah, I'd say the guy that played Chidi for Blue Marvel. I could give him that. But Mr. Fantastic, I don't know. But I think Blue Marvel is like a cool Mr. Fantastic, if that makes sense.
Mixed with like Superman.
Yeah. But I could totally see that. Although you're not wrong. I mean, I guess he could do a pretty good job as Mr. Fantastic also.
I mean, I will say the guy is pretty buff. I mean, he's in a show after Good Place. He joined a show called Love Life on Apple TV, and he's buff. Dude's buff.
Yeah.
So he's definitely in the shape to play a superhero of some sort.
Yeah, there we go. Let's see. We got a little. There we go. Okay, that's gone. Okay. Sammy says, and what about ScarJo? Sammy's in for a world of disappointment.
That's why I told you she's gonna kill you.
World of pain. A world of
you.
Pete says he was great in Crash. John says Chris Reeves. John, you're not going to be disappointed, sir. Pete says Billy Crudup is Mr. Fantastic, even though he already played Dr. Manhattan. Yeah. I think he could do that. I think Jason Bateman could do it too. What's that?
Depends on the age range they're going for. Like,
yeah.
Although they said Charlize Theron was up for Invisible Woman like recently, so that would work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because they're definitely going to be skewing a little bit older. No offense against her. Yeah. I mean, she looks great, but yeah, she's not as young as she used to be when she first appeared in 2 Days in the Valley.
Yeah, 20-something years.
Right, exactly. So,
Devil's Advocate when Keanu Reeves was biting on her butt in one scene.
So we got Elias. Let's do another honorable mention. Jarrett, you had an honorable mention, I believe. It was
Super should have been on the list, but you know we had a finite amount. But Michael Fassbender as Magneto.
Yeah.
Not only is Fassbender, he's one of those guys I hate because, well, I love him, but I hate him too because he's like amazingly talented and amazingly good looking, and I hate that because it's not fair. It's just not fair.
Life's unfair.
Life is unfair. But
yeah.
His Magneto had so much pathos and like development and like and depth. Yeah, I mean, it was just. I mean, obviously, also like he got like the writers gave him the room to have that, you know. Whereas Ian McKellen, who's a great actor, kind of just showed up. He's Magneto, and that's that. But Fassbender, they really made what if you read the comics, Magneto, and even like now he's pretty much like a good guy, like in the comic books, in the current comic books, but. In the comics as we were growing up, he was this really gray character.
Complex. Yeah, complex man.
Very complex. And you could like at sometimes be like, you're right. And sometimes be like, well, you went about that a little extreme. You shouldn't have killed all those people, Magneto. But you had a point. But and Fassbender just nails it. And the scenes between him and Professor X, who played Professor X, who's really good in that.
James McAvoy,
who did a great job as well.
Yeah.
Their scenes and their relationship is so wonderful, and the development of that character is just, I don't know. He
great chemistry, great casting.
Yeah, great casting, and once again, like I said it for Wesley Snipes. When these people, you're playing a superhero, so it's yes, there's this in the back of your mind. Maybe it's a little corny, if you're not a superhero, fan or whatever. But when they take it seriously and they find the humanity in the character, which is what we love about our comics, like we don't just love the action and all that. You got to pull us in with the humanity of the characters,
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's you, Michael, you handsome motherfucker.
Chris says Fassbender brought such a badass emotional element to the character, but both Magnetos were great, he thinks.
Yeah.
Agree there. I was on the fence when Sir Ian McKellen was announced because I was like, he's so old, and it just didn't make sense to me because I was used to the comic book version where he has white hair, grayish white hair, but he's buff as hell, he's like ripped, he's shredded, and he's like, pumping iron, literally, because he's got magnetic powers.
He can do it if he wants it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's the master of magnetism.
Right. Patrick Stewart says John was the best Xavier. John, I agree. I think he was an excellent Xavier, but I also feel that they just missed the mark with Mr. Freeze. he would have been.
I know he would have been great,
Perfect.
Mr. Freeze, but unfortunately they're trying to go for the bigger name recognition with Arnold.
Yeah, how dumb was that? I mean, that was the most ignorant thing ever. There was no. Mr. Freeze has such a tragic story behind him, and they just made him such a cookie cutter, like cardboard character from the '60s TV show instead, and it was just a shame.
It was just.
You think James Malkovich could play him now if they were to ever bring him into another movie?
James Malkovich?
I think he means John Malkovich.
Oh,
I'm sorry, John Malkovich. Thank you, John Malkovich.
Yeah, John Malkovich could do it.
Would be a great Mr. Freeze, yeah.
Yeah, he's excellent. Hey, Merrick, thanks for joining. I also want to mention quickly that if you do love Mr. Freeze and you want to see that story that we never really got, watch the animated movie Batman Sub-Zero. It gives you all the feels, and it's a really well done story, so I highly recommend it if you get a chance. Okay, so we're going to move on from Fassbender. Kevin, you had an honorable mention that you would like to throw in there, right?
Yes, sir. And that is the great actor who's underrated, I believe, in many cases, Alfred Molina as Dr. Otto Octavius in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I thought he was wonderful. I mean, he brought a lot of depth to the character. He wasn't just simply a plain bad guy. You kind of see where he was coming from. Loved his life. His wife gets killed. You see the tragedy of those, tentacles being attached to him. And those tentacles in themselves were awesome. They're like characters in of themselves. The effects were just so well done. And to me, he is the best Spider-Man villain, if you can even call it that, but a great villain from the Toby Maguire movies. And of course, his appearance in Spider-Man No Way Home is like nothing ever changed. Between him and William Dafoe as Green Goblin, is like they just step right back into those roles, nice and smooth. Great job.
He's also like a Gene Hackman to me. He's like anything he's in, he's great. Like smallest role, biggest role.
Go back to Indiana Jones.
No, I will go to Boogie Nights.
Oh, that's true. Boogie Nights.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. He's excellent. He cemented Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man films as some of the best superhero films just because of that film alone. Just because he created a father-like figure for Peter kind of a mentor, father-like figure for him that we've never seen before on film. And it was so well done, and the performance was so nuanced that to see him slowly get turned, it was just off the charts excellent. So yeah, I mean, I can't make any complaints here, Kevin. This was an excellent choice.
And by the way, I was so happy to see them reunite in No Way Home briefly. That was a great scene, because remember when he said something, "Hey Peter, how you been doing?" And he's like, "Just trying to do better." It's like, good. It was a very touching little, moment there between them. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Pete says Alan Cummings is Kurt Wagner, aka
I brought that up earlier. Great choice.
Scorch, which is Frank, says, after watching Alfred Molina in Species, I haven't been able to get the image of him being murdered after sex out of my head. Frank, I just watched Species last week, I think, or the week before again. Boy, did that not date well when it comes to the special effects at the end. It's pretty terrible with that. But it's still a fun ride to watch. And you can tell that...
fun for Alfred Molina, that ride.
And you can certainly tell that no one wanted to be there. Specifically Ben Kingsley and Michael Madsen. They did not want to be there at all, and you could totally tell. Pete says Molina brought the same level of greatness to Doc Ock, just like Ledger did for the Joker. And it looks like Janet's popped in. So, Janet, thank you for joining. So let's move on. I've got an honorable mention here, guys, and then we'll go on to our finalities list here. I have one. I'm going to mention quickly Lori Petty as Tank Girl.
We're going 90s. Oh, I like that. Going back to the 90s again.
I'm not going to apologize for listing this. I freaking love Tank Girl. I think she was the perfect fit for Tank Girl. Just her attitude, her voice. I thought the script was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Got a good cast.
Yeah, I mean, the story itself, there's not a whole lot to Tank Girl, so to be able to create a whole film out of it and make it fun and something that you want to revisit, I'm all for it. So Tank Girl, Lori Petty, she definitely made my list of honorable mentions because I think that this film is highly underrated, and I think that if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. And Pete, I think she would definitely make an amazing old lady Harley, if that makes sense. Kind of like an old...
Hell yeah. Yeah, I go with that, for sure.
Like an old man Logan.
So like in Batman Beyond, she's there as like an older Harley Quinn?
Yeah, yep, exactly. Chris says, I'm not sure if I ever saw that movie, but I definitely remember it being released. And then...
It's on Tubi.
Frank says, hey, Mockingbird Girl, Tank Girl. Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't she the lead singer of the Cranberries? Actually, the lead singer of the Cranberries, I believe, passed away.
Yeah, tragically, too.
Yeah.
Like, died in a bathtub, drunk. Like, yeah.
Sad. Yeah, something very, very sad, Chris. Thanks for bringing that up.
Thanks for making that linger. Did you have
that's too soon. Too soon. Oh, Jarrett.
Oh, man. Sorry, I'm a Cranberries fan.
Okay, so moving on. Let's start with our list. I'm going to bring up one, and then you guys, whoever wants to talk about it, we're going to grab it. All right, so first up on our list, she came, she saw, she kicked some ass, and perhaps she had a saucer of milk afterwards. We're talking about
yes,
Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
And just a heads up, everybody, this is not like we did the swords. It's not a ranking as far as this is just our top list of actors.
Yep.
Michelle Pfeiffer killed it as Catwoman. Like, when I think of Catwoman on film, boom, that's her. Like, she was so good. The weirdest origin explanation in the movie, like she falls out of or she gets pushed out of a window, and then cats start nibbling on her fingers, and then she becomes a Catwoman. What the hell was that? What was that?
Go figure.
Yeah, but when she was Catwoman, hot damn.
You know how many times I tried to recreate this whole thing by pushing people out of windows and then just having a bunch of cats around?
Eat her! Nibble on her, cat!
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Aw, Pete says perfection. Nice. I'm pinning it.
And what's sad is had Tim Burton been the third movie, apparently she would have been in there as well in the third Tim Burton Batman film. But of course, Warner Brothers in its infinite stupidity decided to make changes that sent Tim Burton away as well as Michael Keaton.
And wasn't there a story that came out recently that she actually got, like, they trained her how to use the whip, and she actually got very adept at it and was could do some crazy stuff with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
John says, based on the trailers for the new Batman, I'm really interested to see the characters portrayed. I'm really interested in seeing every character except for the Riddler. I think that character's trash.
Paul Dano? You think Paul Dano's going to be a bad Riddler?
Well, I don't like the BDSM outfit. I can't stand it. I think it's stupid. And
it seems like they're trying to Jokerize him. Like they're trying to do the Dark Knight.
You will never convince me that this is a good idea.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
I have to say, too, I've seen her in so many things. I am not a fan of Zoe Kravitz. I didn't like her in the First Class X-Men. I thought she was pretty lame. I've seen her she had a small part in the show Californication. I don't think she's a good actress.
She's Lenny Kravitz's daughter, sir.
God bless that, and Lisa Bonet's daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where all the talent is. But yeah, I don't know. I just have no expectations for her as Catwoman at all.
No one's going to top this role anytime soon, if ever, to be honest with you. I can't see anyone topping Michelle Pfeiffer.
Janet says, I am woman, hear me roar. The stitching on the outfit is the coolest. Pete says, Eartha Kitt is my second fave. Chris says, I swear she's destined for the screen closest thing to Michelle Pfeiffer that you've ever seen. Oh, I think it was Rockabye. I think, maybe? I don't know.
Rockabye.
Hey, it's Brian. Thanks for joining us, buddy. We've got Half's Hot Sauce in the house, his house. For those that haven't seen it yet, well, you probably haven't. It just came up. a couple hours ago, we did a hot sauce tasting on Brian's podcast, or video podcast, I guess you could say, or video. Brian, if you want to post the link in the chat, please feel free to do so. I think anybody would appreciate watching me having my eyes water by tasting a bunch of hot sauces. Janet says, yes, Jarrett, my friend who is a professional whip cracker and whip maker found out that Michelle Pfeiffer was great at cracking the whip.
Oh, I think I saw that friend at Bar Sinister many years ago. I was chained up on an X, and never mind. Let's just go. But yeah, Catwoman.
Right.
Michelle Pfeiffer is fantastic. No, they actually, the costume was like, also, they nailed the costume on that too. Like, still holds up.
Chris, the hot sauce can go pretty hot, man. Like, Chris, if you like really hot sauces, you should try the More Cowbell from Half's. I think that one's super hot. It's a mustard seed hot sauce. It's got an amazing flavor, but it's so hot to me anyway. I don't know. It's so hot to me. But yeah, you can go to halfshotsauce.com. Type in the code Donald Hiccups and you get 10% off on your order. So I'm going to put that in the chat here real quick. Okay. There we go.
There we go. Excellent.
Yep. Chris just posted the link and just posted the 10% off code, so you can give it a shot if you'd like. And yes, I saw somebody give us a thumbs up. If you're in the chat or just watching, you haven't commented or anything, feel free to give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. So Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, we all agree she's amazing. Can't ask for a better one, really.
Still looks good for her age. Still looks good.
Oh, she looks great. And
loved her in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Speaking of looking great. Speaking of looking great, we are going to bring up, let's see, Mr. Tom Hiddleston,
yes.
a.k.a. Loki. Now, I mentioned this earlier. I can't see anybody else now playing Loki. In fact, Tom Hiddleston loves playing Loki so much, I think he said he'll just keep playing this character forever because he loves the character so much. I don't know,
classic Loki was pretty good, but...
who played Richard?
I agree.
What's his name? Great character actor. Played the classic Loki. What's his name? Richard, oh my God. With Nail and I don't know. Great actor played him. Tom Hiddleston, it's funny because I've never been a Loki fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I've read many stories with Loki, and yeah,
Richard E. Grant, sir.
Yeah, Richard E. Grant, that's right.
Yeah.
Great actor. L.A. Story.
Hudson Hawk.
Hudson Hawk. Like everything. The guy's in like a million things.
Yeah.
But Hiddleston nails Loki like completely. Like he just you can't trust him. He tells you can't trust him, and then you still find a way to kind of go like, well, I want him to kind of get it right, and then you don't. It's. I mean, that's pretty.
He's magnetic. His personality is just magnetic. You're just drawn to him.
Mm-hmm. Frank says Tom originally auditioned for Thor.
Yes, that's true. That's true. He did.
Boy,
was he gonna put on like tons of muscle?
Yeah, no shit, right?
Well, Hemsworth had to too. He wasn't as big when he got the part. He had to put on some muscle.
True.
Yeah,
it's just funny because I cannot see Tom Hiddleston like super buff.
What was that? What was that miniseries he was in? I think it was the Night Manager.
Yeah.
Wasn't that it?
Yep.
Great little. I think it's like a 6 or 7 part BBC miniseries. It also has his name. He played House. Can't remember his name.
Hugh Laurie?
Yes, thank you, Chris. Hugh Laurie. And he was fantastic in it.
Hug
as well.
Lowry.
Oh, is it Hug Lowry?
Hug Lowry. Yeah.
Okay, Hug Lowry.
Hug Lowry.
Yeah. Okay. Him and Tom Hiddleston did a great job together in that show that they did. It's pretty good. But yeah, if you get a chance, The Night Manager, check it out.
He also did a vampire film with Tilda Swinton, which means the Ancient One and Loki are also vampires.
Sure. Chris says he's one of the best anti-heroes in all of superhero movie history. John says, honorable mention, Matt Damon as Loki. And Maria says, yeah, that screen test for Thor is pretty fun to watch. I didn't know there was one. I never paid attention. And let's see. Janet says Tom Hiddleston looks like Frank. I don't think I see that.
Frank, can you put on a long-haired wig real quick?
Yes. Yeah. And bring you on.
And take 2 knives and flip them. And
Enrique says Jeffrey Dean Morgan wore a muscle suit for Watchmen. Shut your mouth. He did not. Those are all his.
That's right.
Enrique. Embarrass
Don't kill the
yourself.
fantasy, Enrique, for people.
Yeah. Only Lovers Left Alive was so good, says Sammy. Well, that sounds like a hell of a fun title. Anyway, moving on. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Okay. So let's do something fun. We've got a few of these that we're going to pop up here. We're going to bring up 3 choices, and we're going to let you guys decide which one do you think is the best, and we'll all figure this out together, so to speak. Enrique says, I'm just jealous. All right, so here we go. We cherry-picked 3 we thought portrayed the 3 best Batman in the Batman films. So we have Michael Keaton, we have Christian Bale, and we have Ben Affleck. All 3 very distinct, very different personas as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. So, what do you guys think in the chats? Who do you think is the best? And while you guys are deciding, Jarrett, Kevin, Chris, and myself will also debate this. So this will be a nice little fun one. We already got a response. Marique says Keaton. So, what do we think? Do we think Keaton, Bale, or Affleck, guys?
Well, one thing you have to think about, are we considering purely the best Batman or purely the best Bruce Wayne and Batman put together? Because sometimes you get a better Bruce Wayne, you get a Batman.
You're 100% correct. I think that 2 of them that we didn't list, what's his name? George Clooney played a better Bruce Wayne than he did a Batman, and I think Val Kilmer played a better Batman than he did Bruce Wayne. So
right.
Totally can see that.
Robert Pattinson, we don't know what he's going to turn.
But I also felt that these guys did a well-balanced Bruce and Batman. So that's why these 3, made the list as our coordinated efforts to decide. So we have a few. Ricky says Newton. I don't know what Newton means there.
Sir Isaac?
Fig. Sammy says Michael Keaton. Pete says Keaton. Chris says the Twilight Sparkle guy. You haven't even seen that yet, Chris.
I haven't seen it yet.
Sammy says, please, even George Clooney and Val Kilmer were better than Affleck. Oh, Sammy, you're so wrong.
Damn.
You are so wrong. Frank says Keaton as Batman, Bale as Bruce Wayne. Chris says Bale for sure. Marique says Val with little hard eyes. Get out of here. Janet says, I want my Michael Keaton, and I'm happy I'm getting him back. He's got that visceral anger towards the Joker. And Brian says Michael Bale is the correct answer.
Michael Bale.
You got to look.
I thought it was Christian Keaton, actually. Yeah.
And John, I'm glad you mentioned it. John says Affleck was best comic-like Arkham depiction of Batman. I think that Affleck's getting overlooked because the films that he was in were not top notch, and I don't think that had anything to do with him. I thought he made an excellent Batman. In fact, no one was complaining about him as Batman because they were too busy complaining about everything else that sucked about those films.
Yeah.
So
my biggest issue with Batman or his Batman was his costume. I didn't mind him as Batman or Bruce Wayne.
The costume turned you off? The costume turned you off?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
It was that and that he killed people. Just
really
killed people.
They killed his Robin, so what do you expect was going to happen?
Evan said Bale. Ricky says Keaton. So it's not Newton. Okay. Joe says Kevin Conroy.
Yes,
Pete
he
says,
is the best Batman, but
yeah.
fucking film.
Pete says Affleck had the best fight scenes. Sammy says, not my Batman, I complain. Chris says, I like Bale because the fight choreography was the best of all the films, I think. I don't know. I think the Affleck choreography with Batman was pretty on, man.
Look, guys, the way we find out who the best Batman is, who has the most movies? Who's in the most movies?
Well,
Who
that'd
do we
be
keep
Bale.
going back to?
That'd
That'd be
Christian
Michael
Bale.
Keaton.
Actually, that would be... Michael Keaton was in how many Batman films?
He's going to be in
Two.
4.
4.
He's in Flash, and he's in Batgirl.
Okay.
Okay, well, yeah.
All right.
True.
So then you have
And
Bale
probably
in
Batman
3,
Beyond.
and you have Affleck in 3. He was in Suicide Squad, the first one. He was in Batman vs. Superman.
You can't count.
Oh, you
Justice
can't?
League.
And he was in Justice League.
Was he even was that even him in Suicide Squad? Like,
Absolutely.
Is he just a person in a costume?
It was
on a
100%
car.
him.
All right, well, let's go. We got a good audience wrap up here. Let's go with the panel here. Donald, who's your favorite?
Man, I'll go. I guess I'll go with nostalgia, and I go with Keaton.
Okay, Kevin,
Yeah, probably me too. I'll probably go with Keaton out of nostalgia.
Chris. I think I know your answer.
Definitely Keaton, 100%. I'm actually not a big fan of the Christian Bale Batman at all.
Wow.
And
I'm not
Did you
either.
shout to his face?
I didn't like
Mr. Turner?
I didn't like Affleck's costume, but I don't have any complaints about either Batman or Bruce Wayne with Michael Keaton. So
Yeah.
And I will say I watched the Bale films more, but it's more for the look and the villains.
Mm-hmm.
And I Christian Bale, I think he's fine. But yeah, Keaton, I think, did the best balance of Batman and Bruce Wayne. And I think if Keaton, I'm sure, although he's super old now, but like if Keaton had a costume where he could actually move more, we would see a little more, of the action part of Batman.
Yeah.
But,
I think
Keaton.
Keaton.
I go Keaton too.
Keaton just barely scrapes away with it in my mind, away from Ben, because I feel like Ben's fight choreography, I agree with John, was so good, so well done, that it really puts him up there. And I feel like he delivered everything he set out to deliver. He's always wanted to be Batman, and he finally got to do it. So, and it shows. But yeah, John also says technically 4 movies for Ben Affleck if you count the Snyder cut of Justice League as well. So.
True.
I do not.
It's kind of the same film, and it's the same film.
Frank, yes, there is no Adam West because it started in television first and did make its way into film. We know that, but we just didn't put him in there because we like trios.
We are also going to do a TV Best Actor of superhero people, so
Yeah, that's going to happen eventually.
hold on to your butts.
Okay,
Yes,
next one we have, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that created the MCU that basically defines the way it's done now. That's Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Tony Stark. What a fantastic performance. I don't know.
How funny is it that he was a gamble and hard to sell? Jon Favreau had to sell him over and over again for Iron Man because of his, his past and blah, blah, blah.
And he was on a short leash on set. Had he not made it past a certain date, he got himself in trouble. They would have fired him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so I know coming from me, like, I've been a fan of Robert Downey Jr. since like Weird Science.
Weird
like,
Science.
Yeah.
Yeah. And watched him grow and develop as a great actor, like, from Chaplin to Two Girls and a Guy. Like, he's just a amazing actor. So when I heard like this great actor was going to play a superhero, I was so on board, like, instantly. But then what he did with the role was even more like he embodied it 100%.
Yeah.
That first trailer.
He was in an excellent Elton John music video as well. Did a fabulous job there. And also, if it was not for Shane Black and the film Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, we would not even have seen this movie.
The comeback started the comeback.
He actually had to be extra insured on Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and Shane Black went for it and did the extra effort because he wanted him in the co-lead role with Val Kilmer together. He wanted the two of them, and he went to bat for him. And he even went to bat for him again and said how good he was in that and how he did what he was supposed to. He wasn't like getting drunk or doing drugs or anything. He went to bat for him for the Iron Man role, which is what helped him get it. So that's why when Iron Man 3 came up and they needed a director, Robert Downey Jr. went to bat then for Shane Black. To return the favor. So for those that haven't seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, it is an amazingly well done kind of a noir mystery comedy, and it's just perfect. I can't recommend it enough. So definitely, if you get a chance, check out Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's a fantastic Robert Downey Jr.
Is Kilmer in that too?
Yes, he is. Okay, we've got some comments. Let's see. No one other than Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, says John. Sammy says the King. RDJ baby. He is the MCU. John says I'm convinced he was the voice for animated Iron Man decades prior. Chris says Robert Downey isn't Tony Stark and Iron Man. Iron Man and Tony Stark are Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. And Sammy says, "Oh, and only you as well!" with an exclamation point. Yeah.
Oh, I actually have a good Robert Downey Jr. story. So when I was 7 years old, I did a movie called True Believer where I played like a one-day little small bit part. I was the son of a Nazi, and Robert Downey Jr. and James Woods are playing these characters that are like lawyers and they're investigating something. And I was like, I don't know who the hell James Woods was. My mom was like, "That's James Woods." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." Robert Downey Jr., that guy was in Weird Science. Like, cool. And so I went up to him and I was like, "Hey." I'm 7 years old too. And I'm like, he's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Super nice guy. And I'm like, "Hey," "you were in that movie Less Than Zero, right?" Which is about like young teenage cokeheads, like Bret Easton Ellis, like 80s, like LA. And he's like, you've seen that film? And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Oh." And I was like, "Yeah. See you later, Robert Downey Jr." And then I just walked away.
Didn't you get a picture with him though too?
Oh yeah, I got a picture with him.
Yeah.
We'll or something. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But he was so nice, super nice, and humored a little 7-year-old who pretended.
Well, you're a kid. He's gonna be nice to a little kid, of course.
Well.
Yeah, he gave me like an 8-ball, dude. Like right off the bat. And I'd never tried it, and he was like that generous. So thanks, Robert.
Good Lord.
It was the time. It was the 80s. It was 87.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Chris says Robert Downey Jr. doesn't do push-ups, he does earth downs. And then he says when Robert Downey Jr. jumps into a pool, he doesn't get wet, the water gets Robert Downey Jr.'d.
That's true. That's very true.
Wow.
And Chris says, you dirty S-O-N, get it? S-O-B equals S-O-N, son of a Nazi. I kill myself sometimes, knee slap. Oh, jeez. Oof.
Now you know how we feel, Donald.
Okay, Evan, have a good one, buddy. Thanks for joining. I think that's what GTG AFK means. And John says billiards is a hell of a sport. Yeah, sure. That's what that is. All right, so we had a little Robert Downey Jr. action. Let's talk a little bit about Chadwick Boseman. What a perfect Black Panther. You know? I honestly, I didn't particularly think too much about the Black Panther as a character. Not a character that really was relevant in my youth. In the 90s, there wasn't a ton of Black Panther stuff going on. If it was, he was appearing in a Fantastic Four here or there sporadically, but he didn't have much forward momentum. Flash forward in, the MCU, they're like, we need a strong African-American character or, African character that we can bring forward into the limelight to show people the diversity of the MCU. and we have to hit this right. We have to nail this, and we have to cast this perfectly. And they did. I mean, I don't know what more can be said besides the guy literally took this character to his grave. I mean, he did such a fantastic job that they didn't feel like they could or should replace him in the role.
Yeah. No more
and that says something.
No more T'Challas in the MCU. Yeah. And interesting enough, in the 90s, Wesley Snipes was trying to get a Black Panther movie off the ground. And when he couldn't do that, instead, he was able to get Blade going. So that's kind of a little interesting tidbit there. But you know what? Things worked out the way they needed to. And, we're very honored to have Chadwick Boseman play, T'Challa, Black Panther. It's hard to believe. It's going to be 4 years since that movie came out next month.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
Hey, Hakeem. Thanks for joining. Chris says,
What's up, Hakeem?
Rest in peace. No one could have done it better. Sammy says, God, I miss him. He was perfect. Let's see. So sad. Wakanda Forever, says Janet. Chadwick Forever. Enrique says, I'm so sad he's gone. Black Panther was there way before diversity and PC wokeness and all that other BS. Yes, he was actually the first African comic book character ever created. So,
yeah. 1966.
There you go.
What was cool is like, one, it was a kind of, I don't think most people knew who Chadwick Boseman was when he got cast,
No.
So we saw him in Civil War and we're like, holy shit, like, wow, this guy's great. And what a cool character and design. I knew him in the comics, but he was always just the cool looking character. I didn't know like a lot about the history, just he tangled with the Fantastic Four and that. But Black Panther, the movie, was one, just so fun and great and rewatchable, which is a great movie to me. And two, like, I can't speak personally because I'm a white guy, but like what the doors he opened for kids to, what they say representation matters. He proved it like leaps and bounds of like, I have seeing people's kids who are African American, their kids getting to be Black Panther for Halloween or just for fun and dress up and like have their guy who's badass, like, I don't know. I thought that was just beautiful. And then the poetry of that guy's life, outside of it just, it just killed. That was such a devastating news when he was just gone, and that he kept it to himself. I mean, I think they even said he was diagnosed when he was doing the first film. Like,
right.
It's just, it's insane.
Yeah.
And beautiful. And God bless that guy.
Hey, Gabe, thanks for joining.
He did 2 biopic films before he did Black Panther. He played James Brown in Get On Up, and he played Jackie Robinson in 42 with Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Yep. And at the time, Harrison Ford was 42. It's weird.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, he wasn't. He was like 82.
Probably like 56.
Yeah, something. He was pretty old.
Wasn't he in Marshall too? Didn't he?
Yeah, yes. He also played Thurgood Marshall. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
All right. Well, we've seen a lot of male-dominating characters here, so let's throw out a big one. Let's throw out
get some lady love here.
Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Or that's the wrong one, but still, you know what I mean. The perfect casting. I mean, what?
It was controversial at the time. People weren't sure. They were hating.
She's gorgeous.
She's
fit. She's in good shape. She's got acting talent. Yeah, I mean, once we all watched the first film, there was nothing.
Sold.
Yeah, we were all sold on that one. Yeah, there he is. We're all sold on that one. Jarrett momentarily took a nap, but he's back.
Sorry. Just, good.
But he's back. Yeah. So Gal Gadot. Anybody want to comment on her?
It was great to take my daughters to see, a powerful, like, female. I mean, they knew Wonder Woman, but then to see this person, like, represent that character so well was great. And I don't know, that at that point, that was my favorite DC film.
Yeah.
Because I had seen that. I didn't really care for Man of Steel and
before Aquaman
and all that stuff. And like, no, that was my favorite. My only qualm was the final battle.
Act 3, yeah.
Act 3. It's kind of blah. Chris, and even the director has said like that was not her choice. Like,
Yeah, of course, WB interference. You know how that goes. Chris says the first one was great. Second one not so much. Chris, I 100% agree. That second one was hot trash. Not good at all, and it's sad that happened. John says, frankly, everything was great, but needs a Xena physique. Chris says, I cried on the first movie. Hakeem says, Linda Carter was perfectly cast. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Linda Carter was great. She's perfect for Wonder Woman, but they dropped the ball. Yes, of course, Chris, they definitely did drop the ball. I agree. And, yeah, Jarrett, definitely on that first one, that third act really needed to be reworked. It did not go over well, I don't think, with anybody, really. Too much CGI.
I didn't know too much about Wonder Woman before she came along, and I gotta say, like, because of her, I started reading Wonder Woman comics because I thought it was so cool, because she was such a cool character.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of great runs in the comic book. I'm gonna say if you start Wonder Woman from the 1990s and you get like issue 88 or 89, and you read that all the way up through issue 100, there's this whole trial of the Amazons, and it's basically where Wonder Woman loses her title as Wonder Woman to, I believe it's Artemis at the time, and Artemis takes over to be Wonder Woman, and then Diana then has to go into the world as just Diana Prince, and she's still trying to fight crime, but trying to regain her mantle as Wonder Woman. It's a really good story. William Messenger Loebs wrote it. I don't honestly know if he's still alive. I know that he was going blind, and he was part of the comic book. I think Legal Defense Fund or something like that. They were pitching in to try to help him out and stuff, and try to keep him afloat and things. So help a brother out and buy a Wonder Woman trade from the 90s. Trial of the Amazons.
And if you guys could humor me real quick, I know it's a weird segue right now, but and feel free in the chats to chime in too. But if we can just do this, because we're all going through a lot. We're all in our own kind of isolation sometimes, and I just want to say we're all together. So hang on. Imagine all the people.
Jeez.
Living you.
Yeah.
Are you trolling Gal Gadot for what you did a couple years ago?
I think you mean my neighbor's dog howled.
Day, I'm a dreamer.
I can't unsee that.
That was really terrible.
That was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And not just her, it was everybody.
You're trolling her, man. Don't troll Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, thanks for joining. We got some more comments. Hakeem says, Gal Gadot is awesome, even as a real martial artist. Yes, it's true. Chris says, and it has the same director. Shame on her for ruining the second movie. Patty Jenkins, yeah. Janet says, I love how tall she is, and when she leaps and jumps, she looks awesome. Agree. Chris says, apparently they're going to make a third one. Let's hope they don't make it just as bad as the second one. Yeah, I think they need a new direction there, Chris. New writers, for sure. Janet says, Gal Gadot should play Alan Moore's Promethea. That is an excellent choice. Frank says, the No Man's Land scene, kick ass in Wonder Woman. Yes, absolutely. Sammy says, first movie was great. Still haven't watched the second. Don't. Chris says, and Jarrett, you're crazy. Man of Steel is the best Superman movie ever. Oh, I couldn't even get that out without laughing. I know the originals are nostalgic, but push that aside and really consider how badass everything was in that movie. How grim? Sure, Chris. That's the problem.
Does Superman kill somebody? Like, isn't that like a first ever?
Yeah, that's a big no-no for me. Joe says,
Superman 2, he technically killed some people.
John says, Man of Steel was amazing. Man.
I don't think it was bad. I just didn't think it was great.
Chris says, you're not missing much, Sammy, but I would say watch it anyway. He's talking about Wonder Woman 2. Hakeem says, did you really just sing that? I think my nose just went dead. And John says, Henry Cavill's a great, gritty Superman. Yeah, that's the problem, though, John. Superman's not gritty. We don't need that. We have so much grit in the DC universe already. We need a little fun and light. Like, thank God for Shazam. You know, thank God for Shazam, because
I think that was like my favorite one because of how light and just
so fun. Yeah, and we're
Aquaman was fun too.
Aquaman had its moments. Yeah, I actually very much enjoyed Aquaman. Chris and I watched that together. It was really good.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he held me the whole time.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah, I was cold.
Together while watching Jason Momoa.
I was cold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
We did the Titanic thing. Yeah, in the theater. Chris says, how? It's so dark and wickedly awesome. How? Alex says the second movie revealed the director can't write, basically, since she worked on the screenplay and didn't in the first movie. You're correct, Alex. It does show. Chris says, yes, we need that. We don't need a girly, cartoon, colorful Superman. Yes, we do. We do need a colorful Superman. 100%. That's what we need.
We got an argument going on.
I'll fight you to the end on this one, buddy.
I think he's going to fight you.
Have you seen Superman's costume? It's like super color. It's like all about colors.
Right. I mean, he's not trying to hide
on the outside.
He's not Batman. That's why the Brave and the Bold. That's why that worked so well, because it was the odd couple. It was Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. You know what I'm saying? Like, together we had the bright, positive Superman and the dark, grim and gritty Batman working together. You have two. If you have a grim and gritty Superman and a grim and gritty Batman, what's the point? You need that light to balance that dark, and that's why Superman needs to exist the way he needs to exist, and that's why it's so important. And you can make any Superman film, any Superman script great, and still have him being positive. I 100% am not kidding about that. Like,
yeah, support in the comment section, Donald. Someone agrees with you.
Yeah, Maria says, agree, Donald. I don't need emo-tortured Superman. I haven't watched any of Snyder's other movies since Man of Steel because I was so disappointed. Thank you. Yes. John says, I still stick with Chris Reeves as my favorite. That's a fine choice. I have no problem with that.
He did best choice.
He did an excellent job. Joe says, oh man, just wait until he finds out about Superwoman. Yikes. We'll see. Alex says, modern Superman is such a pushover. His secret identity is basically him without a cape. Also, I really love Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, the first and second season. If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, they're both great. I know it's low-budget TV stuff, but Dean Cain does a really good job of balancing that light and the fun of Superman with, it's with romance and action and stuff. It's good. It's a good, fun show to watch. So let's move on from Wonder Woman. That got a lot of conversation sparked, and since we're in that realm, let's right here, Chris Reeves, Superman.
He helped start it all right there. Chris
I don't know.
God rest his soul as well.
What's my take on the Superman in the Superman and Lois show, Chris? I've seen the first 7 or 8 episodes of that. I enjoy it. I think that guy, I cannot remember his name right now. I'm so sorry.
I heard that's really good.
Tyler something, I think. Or Taylor, maybe? I don't know. But he's great. He plays an excellent Clark Kent, and he plays a very good, very balanced Superman. There's a little grim and a little grittiness to him. Not grim, but a little grittiness to him. But there's a lot of light and fun. And it is an excellent series from what I've seen of it. And I can't recommend it enough for people to check out. I think it's really good. Yeah, so, Chris, thank you for bringing that up. But Chris Reeves...
Christopher Reeve, he played Superman with such grace and dignity. He just... The charisma that just shows, you see the honesty, the love he has for the character. It's like if Superman really existed, I think he would look just like him. Yeah. I mean, he was so believable. And
talk about balance, he nailed Clark Kent too, Clark Kent. So well. Like,
yeah,
you see him, and
there's 2 different characters. He played them as 2 different characters.
You just believe he grew up on a film, like on a farm in Kansas. Like he embodies that like he's like the homegrown farm bred like superhero, and it just exudes that.
Chris Duque, I challenge you to watch some of the old Flashman Superman shorts that they did. They're like 7-12 minutes long, something like that. give them a watch. And see if you're not going to be on the side of bright, fun Superman. Because I feel like that was done in what, the 30s and 40s, I believe?
The 40s.
40s? And they are still excellent to this day. You can find them on YouTube. And they're open source.
And if you've never seen the Richard... I was already a fan of the Superman film, so if you see the Richard Donner cut, it's like so masterfully done and combines the film so well. Like,
it's about the second movie?
Yeah. He did his cut of it, and it's so... It makes from Superman 1 to Superman 2 go seamlessly, and it's so well done.
Yeah. Yeah, and Chris Reeve, I guess people will say his costume's corny, and a lot of people, I'm one that I love the underwear on the outside, I always will, and I don't want it to go away. I like the classic look. I think the look still holds true to the value of the innocence of the character and how he portrayed him. He looks like Superman. It's great.
I'll give you the power of Superman and that iconic look.
Yeah, Gary Frank. If you ever get a chance to check out this artist, Gary Frank, he draws when he draws Superman. He drew Superman comics for a while, Action Comics, Superman stuff like that. Google him, and he does a perfect version of Chris Reeve as Superman. That's how he draws his Superman in the comic books. It's Chris Reeve.
Right.
It's fantastic.
I will say this though, real quick, that if Superman Dies had ever come about, I will say that we would right now be saying Nick Cage was the best Superman, but I digress. Back to you, Jarrett.
Every kid wants to put on a Superman. I just had my 2-year-old. We gave him a red cape, and he's like, "I'm Superman." Like, every kid is like, "I want to be Superman."
Oh.
And all the comic book glory of that, you know.
Yep. See little kids with the little red capes running around and stuff. It's great. You get Superwoman, Supergirl, Superman. There's a lot of choices here. Alex agrees. He says Superman is badass in those shorts. Maria says, what do you think of John Krasinski, who is playing Superman in the upcoming League of Super Pets? So he's doing the voice of Superman. I think it's an excellent choice. I think he has a good voice. I think he has a very everyday man voice. You know what I mean? Like, everyman voice, basically. He could pull it off. He could be firm, yet warm. And I like that about him. So, yeah, I think he's going to be excellent, Maria. Chris says he's excited to see him. Yeah, Chris, they're amazing. Frank says Reeves in Superman 1 and 2, awesome. For 3 and 4, I need the MIB to erase them from my mind.
Yeah.
Alex says, I agree with Donald. I love the classic look of Superman. Thank you, Alex. Chris says he's the baddest man on the planet, and he's wearing a costume that looks like a 4-year-old designed it. 2 Jewish men that were escaping the wrongs of the German Nazi Empire actually created that design.
Oh, so. No. Actually, they're Jewish, but they didn't escape Germany. They actually
they were escaping that. Is what I'm saying. Gotcha. In drawing it and creating it. It's a form of escapism, not literally they ran from.
Oh.
No, sorry, I want to be clear there. Chris says, come on. Hakeem says, look at all the other characters who had Superman's powers, like in Eternals and The Boys. Having that kind of power makes you evil. If not evil, at least detached, like Will Smith's Hancock. Alex says it's iconic. Dino says, how's it going for you, filthy animals? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining. John says, Hypno is correct. Hakeem is correct. The psychology could potentially become distorted, but that's why Superman was special. He was the embodiment of goodness. Yes. Frank says, if Clark could have been evil as a kid, watch Brightburn. That's a good point. Chris says, can't wait to see the Super Pets movie. Brightburn was a crazy film. I liked it, but I wanted more. I will have to check that out. I haven't seen it yet, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
James Gunn produced, so yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on from Chris here, and let's go with something a little lighter. If I'm a bit too forward, guys, then somebody stop me. We're talking about Jim Carrey as The Mask. This was a Dark Horse comic book character, The Mask, created for Dark Horse Presents, I believe, issue, I want to say 12, but I'm probably wrong. It could be 21. But a great character, and one that no one knew about until Jim Carrey brought this character to the forefront. Cuban Pete. Can anybody even say Cuban Pete without thinking of that song?
It's true.
My name is Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. It's great.
He was born to play that part. I mean, he just looks that rubber face of his. I mean, he's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Anybody have anything that they want to comment on with Jim as the Mask besides that? Stanley Ipkiss is the guy that he played. I feel like he did a really good job playing the human side of the Mask, so to speak, and balancing that normalcy and that kind of loserdom with the off-the-charts zany that we got with the Mask himself. So, well done there. Kudos to that.
Well, as Kevin said, he was like, they call him like I mean, like he was like made to play that character.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right on, fresh off the heels
Showtime
of Ace Ventura, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Alex says, love that movie. Chris says, absolute perfection. Smoking. Hakeem says, holy shnikey, I did not know The Mask came from comics, but it was an amazing trip into the fantasy realm. Yeah. John says, never read The Mask, but if it's anything like Carrey does, I'm sure he made the character his own and made it something special. John, you are correct. The Mask comics are actually much darker, normally, than the way Carrey portrayed it in the film. So there's a lot of death and destruction, and the Mask character is basically from Loki, who is the god of mischief, who wants to cause trouble. So you can imagine not a nice Loki in this one. So there's a lot of grim and blood and stuff in the comics. So the film is actually very good, comparatively speaking. Chris says, not only the look, but the rhythm and flow he brought to the character and the awkwardness he brought to Stanley Ipkiss. Yeah, exactly, Chris. He was so smooth. Alex says, shout out to Richard Jenny. Rest in peace. He was great in it also. Yes, he played his partner, his friend. Also great in, I want to say Duckman, if I recall. I think he was in that. He also had another show on UPN, and I cannot remember the name of it right off the bat, Alex. So if you remember it, let me know. But that was like around the time that UPN was just starting up with their network and their shows.
Wasn't that Cameron Diaz's like starring like turn?
Her debut.
Yeah.
Her debut was in this. Okay, so next one. Let's see. Let's do another quick little voting one. We had the Batmans. Let's do the Jokers. We've got 3 Jokers here.
Yes.
That was it. It was the Platypus Man. Thank you, Alex. Yes. The Platypus Man. That's right. That was actually a show, Platypus Man, on UPN. So we have Jack Nicholson, we have Joaquin Phoenix, and we have Heath Ledger. We have 3 completely different takes. Mm-hmm. So we're going to ask you guys in the audience what you liked, what you preferred, and we're going to comment as well. So while you guys in the chats decide who is for you, no Jared Leto, Chris, sorry.
We just ignored him. Yeah.
No Cesar Romero either, although he was great. But, you know, the mustache.
And no Mark Hamill, of course. This is live action.
Not TV, it's movies.
Sammy says, I love Jack, but I'm going with Ledger.
2 out of 3 won an Oscar.
Okay, so I'm curious. Guys, what do you think?
2 out of 3 won an Oscar. 1 posthumously, of course, and 1, straight up, when the Joker movie came out for Joaquin Phoenix. Heath Ledger is probably my personal favorite between the 3, followed by Jack Nicholson. It's basically like a 1A and 1B as far as Ledger and Nicholson. Ledger was just incredible. He just took that part, and he basically got back to that mysterious comic book Joker. You don't know his real origin. He's kind of playing with you, telling you these different stories. Just plays a nice, mysterious Joker. You really don't know much about him, but he also don't know what he's going to do next. Very dangerous, very scary. The way he operates. So I thought it was just awesome. Plus, I like the fact that they let him live at the end. They didn't actually try to kill him off. which I think had Heath Ledger lived, he probably would have been in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, he would have been. They made a real big mistake when they killed off Jack Nicholson, and they realized that in the Joker in Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was dumb.
So they had tried to fix that, and fortunately that didn't work out. But what do you think, Chris? What's your guy?
All right, so my favorite image from any Batman movie is Heath Ledger's Joker dressed as a nurse walking away from a hospital as it blows up. So that was really cool. However, Jack Nicholson scares me as the Joker, and I feel like that psychotic behavior is what you should get out of a Joker. So it's very hard for me to choose, but I think nostalgia always wins out, and so in my opinion, I'd go with Nicholson.
It's fine. 1A, 1B. It's all good.
It's so close. It's so close.
I'm definitely 1A, 1B guy too. Nicholson is like the iconic classic Joker to me. Like, they literally did the grin and everything like that. Like, it's so comic booky, and I love it. And it's Nicholson who's fantastic. It was just a role kind of made for him. But Ledger, we talked about Fassbender before, like depth and like embodying a character and going to 11. Like this scene right here, like just the visuals of that, like a wild dog, like putting his face out into the, air of like just reveling in madness and anarchy. Like it was just beautiful. And it's like, and he kind of like a Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York, like Bill the Butcher, like that kind of role. Like this role stole the film. Like it's literally the Joker's film in that. Like
if you take him out of that movie, it's kind of an average film.
It's an average, but yeah, it's completely empty. He just fills up every scene. So yeah, for me, Ledger.
I go with, unfortunately, and this is a little bit skewed, but I go with rewatchability as far as what performance would I want to see in what film that I would want to rewatch over and over. And pound for pound, it's always been the original Batman.
Joaquin.
No, not Joaquin Phoenix. So it's going to be Nicholson for me, because he kind of invented the role, so to speak, as far as like you got this classic Joker elements. You also got this noir Joker early on with him.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
and that is something that we didn't see with any of these others. We saw this kind of a cool noir Joker, and how he was kind of he was an errand boy, so to speak, but he had ideas. He had gumption. He had motivation. He wanted to move up. And Jack Palance's character, he saw that and felt threatened by that, and that made it interesting to me. So
he's like, Jack,
yeah,
don't forget your lucky deck.
Number one, yes. So why I love Ledger, I have not rewatched the film since I saw it in the theater in 2008. Joaquin's, I don't ever want to see it again. I didn't like it at all. And Batman, the original 89, I think it is, Batman 89, love it, enjoy it, and we'll watch it again in the theater, because they play it in the theater still out in LA. So let's go to the chats real quick. Alex says, Jack, exclamation point. Evan says, Heath Ledger. Marique says, that's a tough one. Joe says, that Joker movie with Phoenix is terrible. John says, each are great in their own right. Alex says, all three are amazing, though. It's such a tough call. Janet says, I'm too nostalgic for Jack Nicholson, and he still scares me. John says, Jack and Ledger had the psychological thriller, while Phoenix was a complete bender on mental health. Frank says, Heath is my favorite. Janet says, Chris, we're the same. Chris also says, so good. John says, if Jack had Hamill's voice, there would be no choice. Janet says, have you ever danced with the devil on a pale moon night? John says, Anarchy. Yes, perfect. Dino says, I just watched the Nicholson Batman last night, and that movie was very blah.
Whoa, wow, that's sacrilege. That's sacrilege. Oof. Oh, my God.
Oh, I think you're in the wrong chat on this one here, buddy.
You need to boot somebody.
Oh, my God.
Frank says,
Dino.
My question is, could Leto have played a good Joker if Suicide Squad didn't suck? I think he could have.
Oh. Well, they cut a lot of it out. They cut a lot of his material out.
I think he could have eventually, if they developed them more. Chris says, wait till they get a load of me. Hakeem says, you guys are brainwashed by some kind of sewage. Jack Nicholson totally reeks of garbage as the Joker. Your nostalgia is warping your perception. Wow, we got another one we got to ban, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
John says, in my opinion, Leto is much too eclectic. Let's see. Chris says, Leto is the hipster version that's trying too hard to be cool. It's cringy. And John laughs out loud. So there we have it. It sounds like most people in the chat's like Ledger. Heath Ledger's version, and some people don't like Nicholson's at all, which is kind of crazy.
That's a little disturbing.
Alex says the original Batman movie has so much style it makes up for any problems, in my opinion, and I agree. It's very stylistic. It's very Burton-esque. Burton-esque. You like that? Okay, let's do a couple more here, and then we're going to call it an evening. Well, we've talked about the Joker. Let's talk about the counterpart of the Joker. Let's talk about Margot Robbie's role as Harley Quinn. I can't think of a more fantastic, more perfect scene of her as Harley Quinn than in the last Suicide Squad when she's fighting in that hallway with that big javelin after breaking out of jail, if I recall. It is fantastic. The scene is perfect. It shows exactly the type of character she is. There's so many good moments in that film with her. And also, Harley Quinn in the Birds of Prey, or the Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of when Harley Quinn, whatever you want to call that movie. I enjoyed that movie for what it was. I did like it. I can now only see her as Harley Quinn. And that's tough, again, for an actor to do. So Tom Hiddleston's Loki, I can only see him. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, I can only see her. So it's really, I don't know what else to say. Guys?
Suicide Squad solidified it for me. Like, she was just, like, her whole story arc in that was, like, everything that I've been waiting for Harley Quinn. And, yeah, like, the craziness with the vulnerability, with the you still kind of like her, but she's completely insane still, like, and a badass. So yeah.
Yeah, I think she was one of the best parts about the original Suicide Squad, and then you bring her in the new Suicide Squad, and she's still just as great and magnetic, and like, you didn't know a lot about Harley Quinn personally, without besides in the comic book world, but like what I did know, like, she's exactly what I pictured her to look like and sound like and act like. So yeah, I think she was perfect casting choice. And I think James Gunn did a really good job of using her to her full ability.
Yeah, I agree. John says, how about Colin's Penguin? I think that looks amazing. I'm really excited for that, John. Really excited. I think he's going to be a breakout. Like, in fact, I think they're going to make a short or a HBO Max thing with him.
It's already something where they're going to use him again.
Yeah, which is great. Let's see. John says amazing. Sammy says she's the best. John says the bat scene before it was a good scene too. Janet says love her as my favorite beloved Harley. That maniacal smile. Chris says she was such a fun Harley Quinn. Her comedic timing is so good. Alex says Harley Quinn is from my hometown. Shout out to Brooklyn, Bensonhurst. Frank says she's the only saving grace in the first Suicide Squad movie. John says she had the crazy look down. Chris says agreed. Frank. Hakeem says she is super sexy but super wrong in these movies. F your life. If you like her for this, you should commit suicide as a squad.
Jeez.
Hakeem, did Hakeem get hacked?
Possible. It's possible.
By chance? I feel like this isn't Hakeem. Frank says Harley did not debut in a comic book. Her first appearance was in the 1990s cartoon. You are correct.
That's right.
And then in Batman Adventures number 12, the comic book, is where she made her first.
Super cheap book to get. You guys pick it up.
Yeah, it's about $600.
Absolutely.
Dino says she's fun. Sammy says can't wait till they have her and Ivy in a movie together. Perhaps someday that could happen. If you get a chance, watch the Harley Quinn animated series. It's fantastic. It's on HBO Max.
They're together, all right.
Perfect. Moving on. We're going to do... we can't talk about, great portrayals and acting without talking about Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I mean, when he went berserk in X-Men 2, everybody in the theater went berserk. Like, we lost our shit. Right? Am I right? Everybody...
I agree. And to think that he was an accidental... some of an accidental casting, because Dougray Scott was supposed to have played Wolverine.
Tom Cruise ruined his career.
Well, I would say John Woo more than anything. They're running late on... Plus he got hurt as well on set.
Maybe Tom Cruise more than John Woo, according to Dougray, but...
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
That sucks. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Damn. He owes him.
Chris says he's so badass. Alex says, I loved it. Great scene. Yeah. Hakeem says he's not hacked. There's just a lot of vodka involved. Well, take it easy, buddy. Be careful. Don't drink too much.
Hugh Jackman,
you got work in the morning.
He was out of those early X-Men films. Like, a lot of the characters, even with the big actors, were super flat. Like, in my opinion, were just really flat. Whereas he actually had 3 dimensions to him, and you got to, and especially throughout the films, definitely evolved. But, I think he was a standout from, right off the bat, from the very first films of those.
Yes, Sammy. Tom Cruise is crazy. He's 5'2", 5'3", somewhere around there. 5'4", maybe, I don't know. We're stretching him.
5'3", I believe, from the card, the trading card.
But yeah, Hugh Jackman was perfect as Wolverine, whether he was tall or short or whatever you want to say. Yeah, short people got their moment taken away, sure, but there's always Puck.
It's true.
And Logan. I mean, if you watch the movie Logan from 5 years ago now at this point already, wow. Playing old man Logan, incredible.
Yeah, Logan's a really good film. If you get a chance to check it out, you should. Also, Hugh Jackman was in a... what was the name of the film where he fought like robots with his son?
What's it called?
Iron Giant.
Real Steel.
Real Steel.
If you get a chance to watch that movie, Hugh Jackman is phenomenal in it. It's an all ages film. You can watch it with your kids if you have kids. If you don't, you can watch it by yourself. I watched it in a second run theater that is normally like a shit show, and it was filled with kids, and I was like, oh god, no. And every kid in there was quiet as a church mouse, and it was just because they loved it so much. Like it just was perfect. Every note that they hit just perfectly. So if you get a chance to watch Real Steel, I think it's back on Netflix. You can check it out. Okay, and let's see who we have left here. Give me one moment.
One more left, actually. One more.
Just one more. All right, this is a voting one, guys, so let's hear what you think. Now, you all know where we're going on this. Oh, thank you, Hakeem. Thank you, Frank. Boom. Spider-Man.
Yes.
Now, spoiler alert, there's 3 of them here.
if you haven't watched the Spider-Man No Way Home in the last month, we're sorry. We're just going to have to spoil it for you. All 3 get together.
I think they have official photos of them from the movie together now, so it's out there now.
Yes, but this moment was so awesome. I was like a little kid, just so giddy in the movie theater when I saw 3 of them come together. I knew it was going to happen too. It was so obvious, but when it finally happened, it was so well done. The chemistry between the 3 Spider-Men, between Toby, it was great. Toby, Tom, and Andrew. Great chemistry together.
Oh, yeah. Hakeem, he was also in District 9 with a robot. I forgot about that. Really quickly, Alex says, anyone else flip out in X3 when they made the reference to I'm the Juggernaut, bitch? Yeah. Yes, because a few of us had seen that YouTube clip prior and knew it was coming, or was hoping it would come. And it did, and it was amazing when it did happen. Silly, but amazing. And also, we did get Kelsey Grammer's Beast, which was probably the most perfect casting for that character we could have ever hoped for. So X3 did provide us with a few nuggets, a few gems there. But I digress. back to this. Toby, no contest, says Alex. Frank says Tom Holland. John says there's only Toby. Janet says there's screaming girls in the theater.
Yeah,
Alex says Toby is the only one who pulls off being a massive nerd well. Sammy says, yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I've known about that moment. Chris says Andrew Garfield all the way. I loved him in all 3 films. He also has the best comedic timing and, in my opinion, the best actor of all 3 of them. What is that one war film that he was in? Was it Hacksaw Ridge or something?
Hacksaw Ridge, yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, watch him in that, Chris, and you might change your tune on him being a great actor. It's really bad.
Watch him in Tick Tick Boom, and you'll agree that he's a great actor.
Austin says,
Social Network.
Hey, Austin. Austin says Toby all day. Sammy says excited to see it, though. Frank says not District 9. It was Chappie. That's right, it was Chappie. Thank you. Yeah, Chappie was the one. By the same guy, though, that did Neil Blomkamp, I believe, did both Chappie and District 9.
I thought you were talking about Chappie, but you were making a joke, so I didn't say anything.
Maria says, yeah, the screaming was crazy in the theater. It was all for Andrew Garfield, who is the worst one. Crazy kids.
Ooh.
LOL.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. Kevin, what did you think? Which one would you go with?
Well, you know what? Since this, for all intents and purposes, for our generation, we got to go with Toby. Toby's our Spider-Man. You know, Toby, we have a special connection to. I have a special connection to him. I met, Toby Maguire a couple times. Really nice guy, cool dude. Especially during our ArcLight days, he would stop by. I know he pissed you off because he took away your glory to do the opening and the Cinerama Dome to introduce the film.
Yep, but, and he did it half-assed, too.
Look, man, he was tired. He had a long day.
Couldn't have showed up then.
but Toby's my number one. After that, it'd be Tom and then Andrew. But Andrew was great in No Way Home. So I hope they bring him back for a future film.
I'm going to bring this up with you because I think you were the only other person that was there that's in here. Pete, if you're still in the chats, you might know, and Marique, you might know as well. But there was a point when we were at Comic-Con and they were introducing some of the cast members for Spider-Man. And they had an audience member come in dressed as Spider-Man, and he was asking a question. And he took the mask off, and it was Andrew Garfield.
Yep, I remember that.
And he was so heartfelt and humbled and honest about being so excited and honored to be this character and to be in this role that it really made us believe that this film, this Amazing Spider-Man, was going to be the best one yet because of his passion. So I will say, while I am not going to vote for Andrew Garfield as my favorite, personally, I feel like he deserved to be in the role, and it's unfortunate of what happened with the films he was in.
Yeah, it's not his fault. It's just the
not his fault at all.
All the politics going on behind the scenes. I think they're going to do him right, though. I think they're going to bring him back for some future Spider-Man role. I told you my theory about that, too. I think it would be perfect.
Ray says Miles Morales, Spider-Man. Sammy says Tom Holland is adorable, but Toby was my Spidey. Hakeem says so perfect as Beast. Yeah, it's true. Let's see. Maria says the same as Sammy. Hakeem says, Frank Huff, you're right, it was Chappie. Pete says Tom is the perfect balance of Peter and Spidey. Ray says, I choose the great actor Toby. Chris says, just saw him in Tick, Tick, Boom, and it was fabulous. Maria says, I still need to watch that one, Chris. I bet that's why he was so popular. Janet says, at Maria, thank you, agreed. Alex says, I want to hear the story. How did Toby piss off Donald? Hakeem says, Kevin, I was there at the Cinerama Dome. It was incredible. Marique says, LOL. Pete says, LOL, yes, I remember. I still have the pictures from when Andrew Garfield was in the audience. And Frank says, can they put Garfield in the Venom universe? Toby already fought a Venom. That's
part of my theory. Because remember, there was a line where Andrew's Spider-Man said he was jealous of the other two Spider-Mans. Oh, that sucks. I want to fight an alien.
Yep.
So that would be...
Yeah. Dino says, I grew up with Toby, but the new Spider-Man films are so much better. And John says, good idea, Frank. Chris, who are you picking? I'm imagining probably Toby. Tom?
Okay, so here's the deal. I think Toby's the best Peter Parker, and I think Andrew Garfield's the best Spider-Man. And Holland is a good mix of them. However, the person I marked out for the most in No Way Home was Andrew Garfield. And so for that reason, I got to choose Andrew Garfield because obviously I like him more than I do Toby. I think Toby is fabulous. I mean, I think I enjoy Garfield's acting a little more. And I enjoy his quip, and I feel like he's the closest to like Spider-Man, like look-wise and just temperament-wise. And yeah, so for that reason, like me marking harder for Andrew Garfield than Toby in the new movie. For that reason, I got to choose Andrew Garfield.
Okay, Jarrett.
I might have the strangest take on all this. I think out of acting wise, okay. Let me first say I refuse to see the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies because the villains look so bad.
Yeah,
like the Lizard looked terrible, Electro looked terrible. I just was so.
No Way Home did them justice, though. No Way Home did them justice.
I believe it or not, I haven't seen it, but I will. I think Andrew Garfield, outside of Spider-Man, is the better actor. If you've seen Social Network, he was great. That was the first time I ever saw him. But if you ever see a movie they're called the Red Riding series. It's 3 movies. These British films, true crime, really dark. Do subtitles because it's like Manchester accents and all that. But he's phenomenal in it, like well beyond his age at the time. And then you'd think I'd pick Toby Maguire for nostalgia. There's something about Toby Maguire. There's something like absent behind his eyes. I don't know. He always looks like he's high or something. I thought he did a good Peter Parker, but I never was actually in love with those films. Those the Sam Raimi ones, believe it or not. I thought they were good, but never like nailed it for me. So my Spider-Man is Tom Holland. I think he's just a good balance of the youth, the like wonder of Spider-Man,
naivety.
He has the man behind the chair.
What's that?
But he has the man behind the chair helping him.
Yeah, I don't care about that though. He's just like the take out the Iron Man stuff. Like he's just got the innocence and the fun, and then there's some darker stuff that he deals with.
He can do math.
Exactly. And I enjoy those films so much more. And I just love his. He seems to have more fun with it. He's having more fun.
I don't know if you've seen, speaking of acting abilities, if you've seen a certain film, small little one called Pleasantville, sir. But Toby Maguire knocked that one out of the park.
I like him as an actor. Wonder Boys, he's good in Wonder Boys. I think he's a good actor. I don't know. There's just something that doesn't.
That one about apple cider. I
agree.
The apple cider house rules or whatever. It was just they're talking about rules about how you drink apple cider.
Yeah, I don't like people to tell me how to drink my cider.
That was great though. But really quickly, Alex, to answer your question, Kevin and I used to be usher greeters at ArcLight Cinemas in Hollywood, and they told me the night of that I was going to be opening for the Dome. They said I was actually, and they pulled me over and they said, "Hey, so Toby Maguire's here and they want you to introduce him." And I was like, "Oh, cool. So I'm going to be opening for Toby Maguire." And they said, "Yeah, you're going to be opening for Toby Maguire." And I was like, this is kind of amazing because like people are going to remember me as the guy that said, "Oh, and by the way, here's Toby Maguire," you know? And then, so I have the mic, right? And I'm in the Dome, and the Dome seats, 840 some people, Kevin?
The age of 32.
832. And so I'm just about ready to step out, with the mic, and one of the managers grabs me by the shoulder and is like, "Hey, wait. And I was like, what? And he's like, "Scratch that, never mind. Toby's going to do your greet, and he's going to introduce himself." And I said, "What?" And they just took the mic out of my hand. They ripped my name off the tag thing, and there was a drummer,
Rip your shirt off. Rip your shirt off too and gave it to Toby.
Buttons off my shirt, yeah, basically. And Toby fucking came out, right? He came out with a hoodie on. He had a fucking hoodie, right, and a hat like this, and it was down like this. And he's got a goddamn sheet of paper, and he's like reading from it, and he's like, Welcome to the ArcLight Cinemas. Thank you for joining us here at the Historic Cinerama Dome. And he's saying it like that. Like he's falling the fuck asleep, saying, and I want you all to have a good... And then finally somebody in the first row does this. They go, that's Toby Maguire. Hey, that's Toby. No one knew this guy. They were like, what's this shitty-ass greet? So finally somebody in the front row points him out, and then everybody's like, oh, it's Toby. Ah! And I'm off to the side going like, mom, you know? So pissed off because I could have had this crowd electrified.
All jacked up.
Jazzed. Yeah, I had all these one-liners set up. Man, I was ready to come out with the jokes, man.
I know you practiced all week. This was your moment. And
I was ready. Yeah,
they took it away from you.
You only get one shot, Mom Spaghetti. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
I was like, this is an Eminem song. You only get one shot.
All taken away. But anyway, I digress. That's what happened. So it sounds like most people like Garfield, Toby, Tom. It sounds like a nice even mix, which is fine because they're all great.
You can't really go wrong with this. They're all good. You can't go wrong with whoever.
Let's see. Let's see what we got here. We got more comments. I'm going to do these real quickly. Chris says, ha ha ha, Pleasantville was so much fun. Joe says, I think this is the only thing Holland will be good at. We will see. He's got that other Uncharted show coming.
Well, apparently it's not good.
I don't see him outside of this.
Oh. Alex says Toby was great in The Wizard. Let's see. That's true. Hakeem says when he was first introduced in Civil War, Tom Holland made his mark as the Spider-Man. Dino says I'm going to roll with Jared on his take. Let's see. We've got somebody I get to ban. And Alex says, oh man, that's an awesome, awful story. Thanks, Alex. Chris says, oh my god, so cringy. Yeah, Chris, that did happen. I don't know if you were there at the time or not. I think you were. I don't know if you were in the dome, though. Alex says, damn, Toby, did you dirty? Did you talk to him later and call him out? No, I have not had the chance. I'm hoping he watches this. And Chris says, I vote Donald to play the next Spider-Man. Oh, thanks, Chris. I probably see myself more as a Hydro Man. Or...
Spider-Man 2099 you can play?
I could play the Vulture in Spider-Man 2099 or some other weird ass character. Cardiac. You could play Cardiac.
Well, I think I'd be a great kangaroo. I'm just saying.
Oh, I can only see you as Blue Beetle. Like it's it. I can't see anybody else. Just you.
That's true. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Actually, yeah, I do love the role of the Blue Beetle. Take Gord. So I feel like somebody. The best comment I ever got from somebody was on a YouTube page under one of the videos where they said, when I read the comics, I hear your voice.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, that's so cool. That's something you want to, that's like A-list shit that you want to hear. You know what I mean? Like Michael Keaton wants to hear that when you talk about Batman. You know what I mean? And somebody out there with me is the Blue. So I was just like, I was over the moon. I think I did a backflip that day. Let's see. Dino says, and for my boy Don, F. Toby. Hakeem says, Blue Beetle 2022. And Alex says, Blue Beetle 2099. There we go. That's a good idea. Yeah. I'm actually, guys, I am thinking about doing a Blue Beetle holiday special this year, actually. So... Nice. It's something that's been written. I didn't write it. It's been written, though. It was somebody that has worked with me in the past and was actually in one of the episodes, wrote it. Chris says, great night tonight, fellas. I'm off and away. So much love to all. Hope everyone dreams of being a superhero tonight in their sleep. That's nice, Chris. Thank you. And I think we're done for the evening, too, guys. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the Real Short Box live edition. Again, this is Jarrett, Chris, Kevin, and myself. We appreciate you all. And next week, we have a very off-the-wall, kind of a different idea for a live podcast. So I hope you tune in for that. We'll start advertising that soon. So thank you. And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon,
perhaps we will see you at the cheerful, clean, colorful, but sometimes dangerous comic book shop.
Hi, I'm Toby Maguire.
Good night, everybody.
Comic book shop. I'll say it. Comic book shop.